I'm a little tired. Just got in from uh, Denver. Went to my niece's wedding. I loved it. Very unique wedding. I love when people are unique. But I flew out of Denver today, and the pilot said something um, interesting. He said, my seasoned travelers from Denver will understand, but you know, for everyone else, we'll hit turbulence on the way out, and you know, once we get further along, the turbulence should go away. And I was like, and I said, well, maybe that's because of the mountains. And so I looked up, and I remember I went to Denver before, but I flew in, and I don't remember. It was many, many years ago, but I drove out, so I never flew out. And so that, maybe they talked about the turbulence on the way in, but I don't remember that being a message on the way out. But I looked up, what makes the turbulence in the aircraft, you know, and the mount it is the mountains around Denver that cause that turbulence, and so it's a well known fact about Denver. And I dug a little deeper because I like to go down rabbit holes with everything. And it was saying, Denver has the worst turbulence. The Denver airport, coming out of the Denver airport has the worst turbulence than any other um, airport in the states, and it's one of the worst, maybe in the world. I don't know, but definitely in the United States, it's the worst airport for turbulence. And I was just thinking, and I, a week or two ago, I was doom scrolling on Instagram and saw a pilot saying, folks, no matter how bad the turbulence is, no plane has ever dropped out of the sky uh, because of turbulence. And I thought that was interesting. And I was, you know, planes back in the day, I guess the turbulence was worse, but now they've designed the wings with springs in them to make it a little better. So they've adjusted. So that was a little bit of a message for me. No matter how bad things get, you'll have turbulence in life. I have, experienced turbulence in life and in business, but if you stay the course, the turbulence will go away. You can always, there's always a solution. A wise man named Jeff Prager, he says this all the time: a problem is a problem until you have a system to solve it. Until a problem is a problem until it's reduced to a system. And it's that's what I operate on faith. And so anytime that there's turbulence, in my life, in business, just in anything, I know that if I just keep flying, it'll smooth out. So that's my message today. um, I thought that was a good message. I equate everything to life. Okay, if you haven't figured that out now, everything that I hear, how does that how does that create, how does that equate to life or society, something that's happened in society? So that's the message for you. If you're experiencing turbulence, keep flying. See you tomorrow.